settling into this position, resting on your back. You could take your hands to your low belly and just let your belly rise and fall with your breath. And with your hands resting on your belly, you might be able to feel that movement and maybe even encourage that movement a little bit. Hanging out here, feet slightly wide, knees leaning in, hands on our bellies. And we'll use this position as our opportunity to drop into our practice this afternoon. So you can feel into your back body, feeling the support of the floor beneath you. You can be aware of the area that's occupied by your mat. So you can be aware of the space around you. Start to tune into the sensations you feel in your body and start to tune into what's going on in your mind. And as we allow our breath to slow down and get a little deeper and get a little fuller, there might be an opportunity here to invite an intention for your practice. Maybe there is something that you've been working with, an affirmation or a quality that you would like to invite. That could be your intention for your practice. Perhaps your intention is simply bringing your attention back to what you're doing anytime your mind wanders. I know for myself these days, my mind tends to run about 1,000 miles an hour. So just being on my mat, having this defined space, this disciplined practice is really helpful, a place to bring my mind to. So when it feels right to you, you can begin to breathe with Ujjayi Pranayama, letting your tongue rest behind your top two front teeth, creating a soft whisper at the back of your throat. And we'll stay here on our backs for a few more moments. You can let your arms now kind of come out to your sides. We'll squeeze knees in towards each other now. So rather than simply resting your legs in towards each other, we're activating in the inner thighs and moving a little bit now. So you can slide your left knee down the inside of your right shin as your knees move slightly to the right. And you can bring your knees back up towards the ceiling. You'll squeeze your right knee in towards the inside of your left shin as you move your legs just a little bit to the left. We're rocking our knees side to side, but not just letting them drop to one side and then the other, but instead, we've got a little activity in the inner thighs, a little activity in the core, and we're starting to wake up and stretch the muscles between your vertebrae in your low back. And this is a really nice way to start to build some stability, get a little bit of mobility. Make sure all of our deep postural muscles are doing their job. When we've rocked our knees an equal number of times to each side, I invite you to extend your legs out straight. So almost like you're trying to stand on a wall opposite you, feet flexed, legs extended, arms can extend too. So you're reaching your fingertips away from your feet, thumb side of your head faces the floor. We'll take a moment or two here, really extending. You might feel the sensation of hollowing into your belly. Letting your belly hollow in. With your next exhalation, right hand will reach down the outside of your right leg, and you'll shift your head and shoulders into a side bend. So inching your shoulders over to the right. Right hand works its way down your right leg. You can walk your feet over to the right too, and now we're creating length and space in the whole left side of our body. You may take your breath into your left ribs. You may even feel this in your left waist. So as we get into this position, again, working a little bit with our low back, we're stretching into quadratus lumborum, which is this short square muscle that connects your pelvis to your ribs. We'll inhale, walk head and shoulders back to the center. We can extend feet away from us, extend hands in the opposite direction. When you exhale, you'll take the side bend to the other side. So we'll inch left hand down the left leg, inch our shoulders over to the left as your right arm extends. You can walk your feet over. So now we're creating length and space in the whole right side of the body. Bringing breath into your right side ribs, bringing breath into your right waist. And finally, we'll walk feet back to the center. You can inch head and shoulders back to the center. One more time, extend. Feet in one direction, arms in the other. With your next exhalation, hug your belly in. Lift your head and shoulders. Left leg stays strong and active. Slide your right knee towards your right shoulder. And we'll inhale to re-extend. Exhale, hug your left knee in. Left knee to left shoulder, and we'll alternate. Inhaling to extend, exhaling to hug in. You might intensify your breath a little bit as we get a little bit more into our core. When you've done this an equal number of times on each side, once more, extend your arms in one direction, extend your feet in the other. This time when you exhale, hug your belly in, pick up both feet. Hands can find your knees, and we'll rock our knees in and out. As you squeeze your knees in towards your chest, there's a lovely stretch in your low back. As you inhale, you can rock your knees away. Rocking forward and back here, maybe that feels good. Might also feel good to draw some circles. You could circle one way, circle the other. And eventually we'll curl ourselves into a ball. So you can hang onto the backs of your knees, around your spine. We'll rock and roll a little bit, rocking back towards your shoulders, forward towards your hips. Give that a little bit of a back massage if you round your spine enough. Beautiful. We'll rock up to sitting and then over our crossed legs, coming forward to hands and knees. So in your hands and knees position, let's continue with a little spinal movement. We can lift sitting bones, lift heart, lift head. Exhale and round. And inhale to lift. Exhale to round. Let's go one more time. Inhale and lift. Exhale and round. The next time you inhale, come to a neutral position. We'll take left toes back behind us. We've got left hand under left shoulder, right knee under right hip. Reach your right hand forward, hand at shoulder height. We'll lift the left leg till your foot is at hip height. And just take a moment to extend in opposite directions here. We're hugging up through the belly, lifting through the thigh, lifting through the upper arm. With an exhalation now, you can touch knee to elbow under your body. And with the inhalation, you'll extend. You can exhale, hug in. Inhale, extend. A couple more like this. The next time you reach, pause, and then try bending your left knee. We'll lift the left thigh any little bit higher, and lifting from your left upper inner thigh, maybe your foot can come up towards the ceiling. This could be your pose. You could reach back with your right hand. Maybe even get a hold of your left ankle and press your foot into your hand as you lift up into a back bend. With your inhalation, you can extend hand and foot away from each other. Exhale, hand and knee back to the floor, and return to your cat and cow. Inhaling to lift, exhaling to round. Stay with this forward and backward flexion in your spine for a few more breaths. And then we'll again return to a neutral position. Do the same pose on the other side. So I'm not quite yet able to put weight in my right hand, so I'm going to modify. But I'll have you place your right hand under your right shoulder. And then you can take right toes back, left hand forward, right leg lifts. We're reaching out on this extended angle here. When you exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Keep going. And then we can bend right knee. Start to press right foot up towards the ceiling, lifting from your right upper inner thigh. This could be your pose. You can reach your left hand back, maybe find your right ankle. Maybe press your foot into your hand and find a back bend. We can inhale, reach hand and foot forward and back. Exhale, hand and knee back to the mat. And one more time, coming into your cat and cow. Let's take one more inhalation here. As you exhale now, press your hips back towards your heels. Really be active in your arms. Hips are getting heavy, arms are strong and long. Upper arms are lifted off the mat as you press your fingertips into the mat in front of you and reach your hips back. 2 deep breaths into your low back. And you can inhale, rock forward, plant your hands, flex your feet, tuck your toes, and press back to downward facing dog. You can make your way back to downward facing dog and then explore your down dog. Try bending one knee, you can bend the other. You could bend both knees. You could shift your hips a little side to side. You could roll your shoulders out. You could turn your head side to side. You've got a few moments here of exploration, of fine-tuning. And then as you continue this exploration, maybe you can let your movements hone in on a downward dog that's outwardly still, a downward dog that you can hold for a few breaths. Your movements might start out big and exploratory, and they get a little bit more refined and a little bit more refined, until finally there's a down dog that you can be in. Feel the vibrancy of the pose and feel the vibrancy of your breath. And it's steady and stable. Beautiful. Let's take one more breath here. And then you'll move your feet forward towards your hands. And it can be a nice slow stroll for this first time through, rolling heel to toe as you walk forward. We'll take our feet to about the width of our hips. Find a half forward fold with bent knees. The knees bent so we can take some of the work out of our hamstrings and really pay attention to tipping the pelvis forward. Bent knees too, so that you can see where your weight wants to shift in your feet. I know mine tends to always roll to the outer edge and I lift my inner arches. You might be the same. You may have the opposite effect where the base of the big toe grounds down and your inner ankles collapse. So just check in. We want equal weight in big toe, little toe, front of heel. We want to lift in the inner arch, lift in the outer arch, and a lift in the sitting bones. Try lifting all 10 toes and then release your feet back down to the floor. And we'll dangle down to Uttanasana. Maybe you can activate your quads a little now. Lift your hips a little now. But we're keeping this nice narrow angle at the hip. We can take one more exhalation here. Softly bend your knees as you inhale, come all the way up. We'll reach our fingertips up towards the ceiling. Really reach, press your palms. When you exhale, roll your left shoulder back, roll your right shoulder a little forward and side bend right. You can even look up towards the ceiling. We'll inhale up, exhale, take the side bend to the other side. Hips can even shift to the right as you reach your hands to the left. We'll inhale to reach up, exhale to fold. And now start to straighten a little more into your left leg as you bend your right knee. And you'll notice your hips kind of twist here. Right hip will drop down a little, left hip will lift up a little. Try to stay grounded in the base of your left big toe. Try to stay light on the outer edge of your left foot. And we'll twist to the left. Left hand can even reach up and overhead. Nice. We'll take one more breath in the twist. Exhale to unwind. And we'll take it to the other side. Left knee bends a little, right leg straightens a little. So we have our pelvis tipping slightly. And you can start to reach your right hand up. We'll exhale and fold. You can inhale, root down into your feet, come all the way up to standing. This time let's turn palms forward. Elbows bent. You've got your elbows at about the height of your shoulders. Now see if we can encourage posterior tipping in the shoulder blade. So the tip of your shoulder blade is moving in towards the rib cage, collarbones are lifting, hands might even drop back behind your shoulders and elbows a little bit. Knees can be slightly bent, we'll back bend here. We're strong and active in the core, and as you inhale, you're lifting up and over the back of your heart. Exhale to root your feet. Inhale to lift up and over. Your next inhalation might extend your arms. Your next exhalation brings you to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Let's inhale and lift halfway up. You can softly bend your knees. Let's take the right foot back for a high lunge. You're balancing on your right toes, lifting in the right thigh, hugging inner thighs in. Pick your hands up. Kind of scissoring our legs in towards the midline. And you can deepen this pose by reaching your left hand down, your right hand over to the left. So we're really extending now on the right side of the body. Gorgeous. One more breath here. Let's inhale to rise. You can exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, step your way back to plank pose and lower. You might want to come down to your belly. You might come down to your knees. You might be ready for chaturanga. And with your inhalation, let's take a back bend and hold it for 3 breaths. So some of us might be here in Sphinx pose. Some of us might be in a cobra. Some of us might be an upward facing dog. Think about grounding into the tops of your feet, drawing your shoulders back, drawing your heart forward, drawing the base of your skull back, tractioning your spine long for 1 more breath. You can exhale and lower, and we'll find our way back to downward facing dog. You can settle into your downward facing dog. And then with your next inhalation, you'll lift your right foot straight up and back. Nice. As you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Hover it there. Inhale, press back. Beautiful. Exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Place your right foot between your hands. We'll tuck the left toes, lift, high lunge. And then deepening this lunge, you can reach your right hand down, reach your left hand slightly to the right. Stay active in your left leg. You can inhale, reach back up overhead. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat. We'll inhale, step forward. Half forward fold. Full forward fold as you exhale. Inhale and rise. This time you can encircle your left wrist with your right thumb and middle finger and use your right hand to pull your left arm long. You can let your shoulder blade lift, your arm extends. We'll take the side bend to the right. Really creating like some space around your left shoulder blade. We'll inhale to rise. Exhale, switch sides. You can encircle your right wrist with your left thumb and middle finger. Pull up, let your shoulder blade elevate, and then side bend. You can inhale to rise. As you exhale, fold back to Uttanasana. We'll inhale and lift, Ardha Uttanasana. You can softly bend your knees. We'll take the left foot back, reach out through your heel. Pick up your fingers, reach up, high lunge. This time, hands come behind you. Lift your left thigh towards your palms, roll your shoulders back. You can inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Hands reaching down towards the floor, and we'll draw right hip up and away from right heel. You're balancing your left toes, tailbone pointing back, belly is hugging in, base of your right big toe is grounded. We're starting to get some length in the outside of the right leg. This could be your pose. If anyone wants to go a little deeper, you could twist this. You can purr in your belly, in your ribs, and your chest, and your shoulders, and maybe reach your right arm up. It's like a variation of revolved triangle. When you exhale, you can unwind the twist. We'll bend the front knee, step back, and lower, maybe to your knees, maybe to chaturanga, maybe to your belly. Let's inhale and back bend. Sphinx pose, or Cobra pose, or upward facing dog. You can exhale and lower, make your way back to downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths there. With your next inhalation, you can lift your left foot to get straight up and back. When you exhale, you'll shift forward, left knee into your chest, hug it in, keep your hips high. Beautiful. You'll inhale, press back. Exhale, shift forward, left foot comes between your hands. We'll inhale, stand it up to the high lunge. Reach your hands behind you, fingers can interlace, and you can slide your hands down your back leg. We'll inhale to reach up, exhale, hinge forward, and we're starting to straighten the left leg now. Bow forward, left sitting bone lifting up and away from left heel. This could be your pose. Tailbone pointing towards the wall behind you. Maybe you find the twist. You can turn belly and ribs and chest and shoulders. Maybe your left arm reaches up. You can exhale to unwind this twist. We'll bend the left knee. Inhale, step forward, half forward fold. Exhale to your full forward fold. And inhale, you can rise all the way up to standing. Let's exhale, release our hands down by our sides. Step inner edges of feet to touch if they're not already there. We're moving into Utkatasana, chair pose. So you can flex your ankles, bend your knees, take the tops of your thighs back, hug your belly in, hug your ribs in, reach your arms up, maybe draw your head back and look up. Let's take one more breath here. When you exhale, you'll fold Uttanasana. You can inhale and lift halfway. Plant your hands, step or float your feet back all the way through your vinyasa. So you're heading back to chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. All right, so here we'll step right foot a little bit closer to the midline of your mat. And you'll cross your left ankle to the outside of your mat on the right. So I'll see if I can do this in like a shortened version of down dog so I don't have to take weight in my hands. Left foot is going to cross over about here. So you're on the outer edge of your left foot, cross to the thigh, and you can press your hips back. So we're really creating extra extension across your sacrum, maybe in the outsides of your thighs, maybe in your outer hip. I can actually feel this all the way down my iliotibial band from outer hip to outer ankle. Nice. Take one more breath here. And then change the cross. So you'll uncross your legs, step your left foot a little bit towards the midline. Right foot will come in front. You'll be on the outer edge of your right foot. Cross at the thigh. Press your hips back. Yeah, so we're trying to get some length and space across your sacrum, outer hip, maybe even all the way down to your ankles. Then you can uncross, return to your downward facing dog. You can take a moment to get comfortable here. And then your next inhalation lifts your right foot straight up and back. Your exhalation will step your right foot between your hands for Virabhadrasana 1. You can pivot your left heel to the floor. We'll keep left heel planted as we slide the right knee forward. Inhaling to reach up to your first warrior. And we'll hold here. You're kind of pulling with your right heel, deepening the pose. We're drawing navel in and planting left heel. With each subsequent breath, you might be able to slide a little deeper. If you find that your right knee is starting to come forward of your right ankle, you could even kind of inch that foot a little forward. Just make sure you keep the anchor in your back heel. Let's take one more big breath here. And you can exhale through your vinyasa, reaching for the floor, step back to chaturanga, and upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, you can inhale and lift your left foot. As you exhale, you'll step it forward, left foot between your hands, right heel pivots and plants. We're gonna hold warrior one. So we're hugging the inner thighs in. Right heel is strongly grounding as you pull your navel towards your spine. You can slide your left knee forward. You can lengthen from your low back up through your fingertips. And then every few breaths, you could try scooting your left foot a little forward if you find yourself drawing deeper into the posture. Let's take one more big breath here, and you can exhale, reach for the mat, flow through Vinyasa. Back to Chaturanga, and upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. So take a big inhalation in your down dog. Take a complete exhalation, bend your knees, look forward, and move your feet towards your hands. You can find a half forward fold, find a full forward fold. We'll bend our knees, reach up for Utkatasana. And as you exhale, release your arms, extend your legs, equal standing pose. All right, so from here, we'll stand into the right foot and cross your left foot just to the outside of your right, similar to what we were doing in our down dog. You'll probably be on the outer edge of your left foot, standing on your right foot. We'll hinge forward into standing forward fold with the thighs crossed. Oh. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Maybe you can feel a sense of sitting bones spreading away from each other. Probably you can feel a sense of the heads of your femurs spreading away from each other. With the crossing your legs, getting just a little more breadth across your sacrum, a little more space in your outer hip. Maybe that sensation of stretch all the way from hip to ankle. We'll inhale, stand it back up, and switch legs. You'll stand on your left foot, we'll cross the right leg in front. You'll probably be on the outer edge of your right foot. Cross at the thigh, and we'll hinge to Uttanasana with thighs crossed. So let's take one more exhalation here. You can inhale, stand it back up. Let's uncross our legs back to inner edges of feet touching. You can bend your knees, reach down, reach up, Utkatasana. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. We'll inhale and lift halfway up. Plant your hands, step or float. Take it back through your Vinyasa. Nice, Chaturanga, and upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. You can inhale and lift your right foot. This time stack your hips. You can twist your right hip over your left. You can bend your right knee, start to pull your right foot back behind you. You could circle your hip here. You could bicycle. You could circle your ankle. You could flip this right over if Wild Thing is calling. Nice. And if you're in the Wild Thing, take a moment to flip it back. We'll take one more breath. When you exhale, right foot steps forward between your hands. Left heel pivots and plants to the mat, Virabhadrasana 1. We're grounding left heel, we're reaching up. Let's move from Virabhadrasana 1 to Parsvanottanasana. Intense flank stretch, pyramid pose. Now, I like to come into this one by hooking my right hand into the crease of my right hip. So I can draw this hip back as I bow forward. I can spill the pelvis forward, and I can stay as squared as possible in my hips. Tailbone pointing back, spine extending forward. You could find your shin, you could find blocks, maybe you find the floor. As we bow over the right leg, pulling your navel back towards your spine. That will do two things. It will anchor your left heel, and it will draw you deeper into the forward fold. So we can hang out here. We can also see about moving this into revolved triangle. So you can inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hug your belly in. You can have your left hand to the inside of your right foot. It could be on your right foot. Some of us will move left hands to the little toe side. And we'll start to twist to the right. Belly and ribs and chest and shoulders. If your right shoulder is currently over your left, you could try reaching your hand up. Nice. Checking in with your breath here. Easy for me to say because I'm watching you guys all do this revolved triangle while I stand here and talk at you. But see if you can stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. Stay with long inhalations and exhalations. It's challenging to breathe in this pose. Breathing and balancing and twisting all at once. Try one more inhalation. Beautiful. You can exhale, unwind your twist. Inhale, you'll pick it back up to first warrior. And exhale and flow through your vinyasa. Reaching down towards the mat, you can step back to chaturanga and upward facing dog. And downward facing dog, brilliant. Oh, nothing like being in down dog after holding revolved triangle for a really long time. This can be a reset. Catch your breath, take a child's pose if you need it. Let everything slow down, get a little calmer. Beautiful. When you are ready, you can inhale and lift your left foot straight up and back at first, and then stacking your hips, bending your knee. You can start to pull your left foot back behind you for a bigger stretch in your left hip. You could find some movement, circling or bicycling. You could even flip this right over into wild thing if that feels good to you. Nice. If you're in the wild thing, you'll flip it back. Take a breath, and as you exhale, left foot steps forward, bringing the left foot between your hands, right heel pivots and plants to the floor. We'll inhale for first warrior, and then start to move this into the pyramid pose. You can hook your left hand into the crease of your left hip, draw your hip back. We want our pelvis to be squared to the front of the mat. We want it level side to side as we spill your pelvis forward over the head of the left femur. Long as you can. Hands could be on the floor, they could be on your front shin. And we'll pull navel back towards the spine to stabilize and to deepen the forward fold. We'll take one more exhalation here. When you inhale, get long. You can reach your crown forward, reach your hips back. With the exhalation, now start to twist. You could have right hand to the inside of left foot, on the top of left foot. You might even be able to reach it around to the little toe side, and we'll turn belly and ribs and chest and shoulders. Maybe if you've got your left shoulder stacked directly over your right, it feels good to extend your left hand. Nice. I should have counted how many breaths we did on the other side. We should try to do as many breaths on this side. Stay with it. Long and slow. Grounded and balanced. You can exhale, unwind your twist. Inhale, find your way back to warrior one, and exhale through vinyasa. Hands reach for the floor and you'll step back. Chaturanga, and upward dog, and downward dog. Once more, give yourself a few moments in your down dog. If down dog does not feel like a place that you can reset, give yourself a few moments in child's pose. And somewhere in your next breath or two, you can bend your knees, look forward. We'll move feet to hands, finding a half forward fold and then a full forward fold. You can inhale, bend your knees, reach up. Exhale, let's keep your knees a little bit bent. You can release your arms down by your sides. Shift your weight now into your right foot, and we'll try crossing the left leg over the right. We're headed to eagle pose. You might be here, squeezing inner thighs towards each other, using your left toes to help you balance. You might be squeezing your shins towards each other. You might be able to wrap your left toes around the back of your right ankle. Once we find the legs, let's make the arms work. We'll cross left arm under the right. You can take backs of your hands together, maybe even cross again at the wrist, and we'll lift upper arms away from our chest. Maybe even find a little back bend here. Nice. From here, let's inhale, unbind, unwind, uncross your legs in control. Step your left foot way back. Warrior two. Plant your left heel, right knee bends. As you bend your right knee, you might even pull a little with your hamstrings. Reach back with your left hand to counter. Shoulders right over your hips. Nice. Let's inhale, reverse the warrior. Slide your left hand down your left leg. And as you exhale, take it to side angle pose. So we might bring right forearm to right thigh. You might start to work your right hand down towards your right foot, but we want a straight line on the left side of the body. We'll turn little finger side of the left hand down, sweep our arm down past our chest, and then up by our left ear. So you have a straight line now from left heel to left fingertips, maybe even looking up at the palms in the air. Nice. Inhale, you can reach up with your left hand, come back to warrior two. Reverse the warrior. And then straighten your right leg. Come to standing. We'll turn heels slightly in, toes slightly out for goddess pose. Elbows can bend, knees can bend, settling in here. All right, so now let's bring right forearm towards right thigh, reach left hand over to the right. Come back through center and switch sides. Inhale to center, exhale to reach. Inhale to center, exhale to reach. Coming back to center, deepen your squat. We'll bring forearms or even elbows to inner knees or inner thighs. And you can actually take your weight now into your upper arms here. Hang out, maybe sway your hips a little side to side. Maybe even press your arms into your inner thighs to deepen the stretch. Nice, you can root down into your feet. Let's inhale, stand it back up, turn it back to face the front of your mat. You can bend your right knee, pivot onto your left toes, get your balance, step forward, and stand back on both feet. Catching your breath in mountain pose. Lovely, you'll root down through your left foot, bend your knees a little bit, right leg crosses over the left. Touch your toes down. You could bring your shins parallel. You could wrap. When you've got your legs sorted, let's do the arms. We'll cross right under left. And you can hug your shoulders. Maybe backs of your hands come together. Maybe you cross again at the wrist. We can lift upper arms, lift heart. Maybe there's even a little back bend here. And you'll inhale, unbind, uncross your legs, keep your balance, big, slow, in control step back with your right foot. Right heel pivots to the mat. Virabhadrasana 2. We're activating the left leg, and as you do, reach your right hand back, centering shoulders over hips. And we can reverse the warrior. Right hand slides down the right leg, left arm can lift. We'll take it to side angle now, deepening in your left hip crease. Maybe left forearm finds your thigh. Maybe left hand starts to work down to a block or even to your foot. Got a little twist to the right here, and we'll sweep the right arm down and then up, straight line on the top side of your body. You can reach up with your right hand, take it back to warrior two. Take it back to the reverse warrior. We'll inhale, extend arms and legs, turn your feet parallel now. The heels might even be slightly in or slightly out and toes slightly in. Take your hands to your hips. You can roll your shoulders back, lift your heart, exhale, hinge forward. Prasarita Padottanasana. Your hands can start to walk back between your feet. If you have the space and the inclination, you can float this into a headstand. Just be aware that if there's furniture around you, it's maybe a little more risky than if you were in a yoga studio. So feel free to float your feet if that is in your practice. Feel free to stay in Prasarita Padottanasana because you're getting most of the benefits of the headstand anyway. There's no need to go completely upside down if that doesn't feel secure. Nice. Take one more exhalation in the forward fold. We'll inhale up to fingertips. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, stand all the way up. You can turn and face the front of your mat. Balancing on your right toes. Weight shifts into your left foot. Step it up. And stand back on both feet. Pause for a moment in your mountain. And we'll inhale and reach arms up overhead. Exhale and fold. You can inhale, halfway lift. Plant your hands, step or float back through one last vinyasa. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. We'll inhale forward to hands and knees. And exhale back to your favorite child's pose. So if you'd like to stretch out your hips and inner thighs, you might like to bring your knees wide. If you'd like to stretch out your low back, bring your knees in a little closer together. Your arms can be wherever it feels good. And we'll let our breath slow down. Maybe start to focus a little on the exhalations. And somewhere in your next couple of breaths, we can bring this into Rabbitohs, which is a really lovely stretch for the entire length of your spine, from tailbone to the base of your skull. So you'll reach back, grab your heels, hug your belly in and round, trying to put your forehead or even the crown of your head on the floor in front of your knees. And you can lift your hips, hold on to your feet, and draw yourself into this rounded position. Nice. You can exhale, release your hips back down to the mat. Let's shift our hips to one side. Take your feet forward for Dandasana, staff pose. So working here, press your hands into the floor. If you're sitting on a prop, press your hands into the prop. Bases of your big toes will touch. Maybe you're activating your legs so much that your heels even lift. Belly hugging in, thigh bones heavy, and there's this little sense of chin releasing towards the top of the breastbone. Take one more inhalation here. As you exhale, start to forward fold. And that might mean fingers behind you, pressing into the pose this way. It might mean hands walking forward. It might mean grabbing your feet or looping a strap. Eventually, we can allow ourselves to completely melt into this pose. If it's reasonable in your low back, you can let your forehead melt down towards your shins. When you inhale, you can pick this up. Let's bend our knees now, soles of our feet to the floor. Take a moment to kind of grip your shins and rock up onto your sit bones. Sit really tall. We'll start to rock our shoulders back. Keep lifting in your belly. Maybe your feet can float. Your shins can come parallel to the mat. You could release the backs of your knees. Your legs could come straight. Your arms could come parallel to your legs. Just try to hold Navasana for 5 breaths. Nice work, stay with it. You can exhale, release your feet back down to the mat. Once more, give yourself a hug, sit tall. We'll come one more time to Navasana, or maybe to upward Paschimottanasana, upward seated forward fold. So you can return to your boat pose if that feels good to you. If you want to challenge your balance a little bit, lift your feet, reach down, grab your big toes, and see if you can extend your legs, hang on to your feet, and balance on your seat. Nice. Beautiful. Let's try one more breath. You can exhale and release. Plant your feet on the floor, reach your hands forward, belly's hugging in, roll down onto your back. So you can release head and shoulders down onto the floor. Reach your right foot up towards the ceiling. And then externally rotating your right hip, turn your toes out to the side. We'll cross right ankle just to the outside of left knee for a figure four. And this might feel good just right here. You can hang out, external rotation, a little space in the outside of your left hip. If you want a little more, use your core strength, pick your left foot up. So maybe it's interesting to work here using the strength of your core and the strength of your left hip flexors to draw your knee in. If you'd like a little more stretch, or if this is a little intense, you could reach around the back of your left thigh and slide in that way. Finally, we'll let left foot touch back down. You can inhale to extend your right leg. Exhale, take your foot back down to the mat and switch sides. We'll inhale, left foot up. Flex your foot, turn your toes out to the side. We'll cross left ankle over right knee. Figure four, this might be enough. You can stay right here for a few breaths. If you'd like a little more, belly hugs in, use your core, pick up your right foot. And maybe it's interesting to work here using a little strength. Maybe it's more interesting to grab the back of your right thigh and deepen the stretch that way. Finally, we'll let right foot touch back down. Let's inhale, extend left leg. Exhale, take your foot back down to the floor. And pick up both feet, hug both knees into your chest. You can rock them in and out a few times. You can draw circles. And eventually we'll bring our arms out to the side, palms facing up, and your arms at about the height of your shoulders. So let's hug the belly in. You can pick up your hips, shift them about 3 or 4 inches to the left, and then try to dip your knees halfway to the floor on the right side of your mat. Left shoulder stays heavy. If you can, knees stay together. If you can, knees might even dip slightly lower than your feet. Beautiful. We'll inhale through center, hips shift back to center. This time when you bend your knees, you'll dip them halfway to the floor. On the left side of your mat, keep your right shoulder heavy. We're twisting deeply enough that maybe knees drop a little lower than feet. We're squeezing inner thighs towards each other to maintain that stability, keeping knees together. All right, we'll inhale back through center, exhaling back to the right. So hips shift left, knees shift right. You could hold the same position we tried before, or maybe hover straight legs halfway to the floor on the right. Nice. You can bend your knees. We'll inhale, shift back through center, hips to the right, knees to the left. You could hold the same twist we did before with knees bent. Maybe it feels okay to hover straight legs halfway to the floor on the left. Nice. You can bend your knees, shift back to center one more round. You could choose either of the previous 2 variations. So we'll shift hips to the left, knees to the right. You could be here. You could be here, feet hovering halfway to the floor, straight legs. If you want to give it a go, we can go all the way into Jatara Parvatasana, twisted stomach pose, where you would hover your feet just above your right hand. Fantastic work. Let's bend our knees, inhale, back through center. Same pose, other side. Hips shift right. Knees drop to the left. You could hover bent knees. You could hover straight legs. Maybe you power up your core a little bit more, deepen the twist a little more, and try to hover your feet just above your left hand. You can bend your knees. Inhale. Let's come back to the center. Exhale. Let your feet drop down to the floor. Take them wide. And just let your knees rock gently side to side. Hips can rock. You can turn your head side to side. As your knees drop to the right, your left hip lifts. As your knees drop to the left, your right hip lifts. We'll come back to the center. Pick up your feet again, hands to your knees. And we'll draw our knees into our chest as we exhale. Take our knees wide and then rock them away as we inhale. Exhaling, knees into your chest. Inhaling, rock away. Reverse the direction of the circles. Take your knees wide, draw them in towards your shoulders. Take your knees together and rock them away. So some circles in your hips and some massage in your low back. Eventually, we'll take knees towards shoulders. Soles of feet reach for the ceiling. Reach up, grab the outer edges of your feet, and drop your shoulders down. Pull on your feet. Let your hips get heavy. Maybe it feels good to pull a little more on one side and then a little more on the other. Happy baby pose, rocking side to side. Maybe it feels good to extend your legs for reclined wide angle pose. Maybe there are other movements that your body is craving. If there's anything else that you need, make those final movements. The final movements that would complete your practice. Maybe flipping back into a plow pose or a snail pose. Maybe one more bridge pose. Maybe your final twist. Whenever you are ready for Shavasana, make your way into your relaxation posture. When you find your resting pose, really feel into the back of your body. You can receive the support from the earth beneath you. You can let each exhalation sink through your back into the floor, and a little more of your body rests against the earth each time you exhale. You can scan through your body and notice if there's any remaining tension, any remaining resistance. Consciously let it go. And just allow yourself to settle into this shape. You can notice the pauses in your breath. Dwell in those pauses. You can allow your attention to be drawn to whatever, wherever in your body feels really good. Receiving the fruits of your practice, relishing the fruits of your practice. And you can stay here in your relaxation as long as you like. I'm going to leave you here. Take your time, rest deeply. Thank you so much for being here, and namaste.